Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming. So I have just released the Tox Blender starter build, and I wanted to release a slightly more advanced version. They're very, very basic changes that we've made to it, but they make quite a lot of the difference. But they do require you to be willing to be more aggressive. This is a very, very, very aggressive build, but it does pay off. You can quite literally pop both Rampage and your Stim and just blend through Crushers and Maulers. As long as you're, dodging and paying attention to what's going on. I would never ever suggest just standing and swinging. As the Hive Scum, you continuously need to be moving, switching sides, and just basically spinning around in a circle like an absolute mentalist. So we'll jump in, and I'll explain the changes that we've made. So we're still using the shivs, we're still using the same modifiers, mobilities, the dump, perks are crit and carapace. You can go for flak if you want a broader scope for the knives, so you do more damage against more enemies. I feel a little bit safer using carapace because that really does mean we can nail down big armor. Blessings wise, we're exactly the same as well. We're going with uncanny strikes and precognition for the rending and for the crit damage and attack speed. As for the needle pistol, we have changed this. We're not using crit, we are using unyielding and carapace. This is so that we can back off if we need to and basically lay down fire into bosses and crushers. Blessings are exactly the same. They're going to be Ghost and Desperado. And what I mean by that is if you're outside of your cooldown windows for your Stim and Rampage and you don't have that blending power, what you can do is literally back off and just nail them. This the psychic area, every time I do the psychic area, it is always an auric difficulty. So all of the modifiers you're seeing and the damage you're seeing would be what you'd see in auric and havoc. So yeah, that's why we've changed from crit, because crit is very useful if you're not doing, well, if you are doing lower level stuff. The crit is just going to help you that little bit, but we don't need it at this level. What we need is more damage to the more annoying targets. It does help where you hit it. For example, body shots. And we'll go for headshots. It's very difficult with the Crusher. It doesn't always decide. Occasionally the damage changes when you actually dump it into different weak spots. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's actually meant to do that, but it does occasionally change the numbers. I'm going to assume it's a bug because wherever you hit it with the needle pistol, it's supposed to take the same tox damage. So let's go with it's a bug, right? And not try and build for it. So that is the weapons. With the curos, exactly the same, but at this, I would say drop the health curo and go for the stamina. The stamina is going to give you more damage and more ability to basically dodge, block, and get the hell out of the way. But this is what I mean by it's a lot more sketchy because we are losing that massive cushion of 21% health that we can bow. Oh, we've taken a chip. It's fine. At this point, we don't want to be taking those chips too often. But we are sticking with toughness still on the other two. Same build. Toughness, combat ability regeneration, damage resistance gunners. You can drop the combat ability regeneration if you want to, because Rampage doesn't suffer too badly from downtime. You can change it over to health, or you can change it to stamina regeneration, or you can change it to damage resist snipers, because snipers are pricks. But I would keep the stamina for this. Now, in the talent tree, it is generally the same. We've got a Tertium Welcome. We're going into Precision Violence. We are getting Float Like a Butterfly into Burst of Energy, down into Toughness Boost. And again, this is, you can still pick what you want here. I would say apart from the Blackout, because to make Blackout worth it, you really do need to go into Pocket Toxin, and that kind of messes with the build. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's going to tweak it a bit into places. But Chem Grenade, very good for just general damage to everything, and it also pings quite nicely with our buffs here. Or you can go straight for Boombringer, which is a guaranteed I don't want to deal with this Crusher Horde. Go away, please. Also, you can... I think it's 2 or 3 to take down a monstrosity. I can't remember. It's also very difficult to tell. Lots of people are doing lots of damage to it at all times. So I'm 2 or 3 to just nuke a monstrosity. But like I said in the other video, you can either direct hit things to make sure they're dead, or you can just aim at the floor if they're, you know, getting close to you. Also, when things are jiggling about, don't try and aim for it. Take the safe route. Aim at the floor. They're still going to take the damage. I've seen a lot of people backpedaling and going, oh, I'm trying to get a hit on it. No. If you can't get a clean hit, aim for the floor. It's going to kill him. But yeah, like I said, it's completely up to you whether you go for Boom Bringer or Chem Grenade, whatever you fancy. Chem Grenade is going to synergize much nicer much better with that side of the tree. But Boom Bringer is going to give you that guaranteed get out of jail free, screw you, Crusher Wave. And from here, we are going down into Gang Tough for range damage and toughness damage reduction, into Nimble for that all-important extended dodge, and the time considered dodging. This is wildly powerful. Slippery Customer is very, very good, but we are massively tight on points at the moment, which is why we haven't taken it. We're going down into Tis But a Scratch for replenishing toughness over 3 seconds. This is going to be your major chip defender from ranged attacks. With melee, you really need to just be avoiding or blocking, but with range, that's not always possible. So Tis But a Scratch is going to be what's going to smooth out that range chip damage. And then we're taking Anarchist. Now with this, depending on your group setup, you can either take Anarchist or you can take Gunslinger Improved. If you have a very heavy ranged team, you could be nice and take Gunslinger Improved. Or you can just stick with the crit, especially if you're doing like a lot of Hive Scum full groups. Try and synergize with them. There's no point all 3 of you taking Anarchist, so if you can before the game starts, switch over to Gunslinger, or, you know, Ruffian's not super great. I mean, it's 10% flat damage, but crit and ammo generally more interesting. Now, the other change we are making is we have taken a point out of Toxic Renewal, which was a big point of toughness regeneration for us. But the point of this is to push ourselves to be able to do as much damage as we possibly can, which is why we are moving into Long Lasting for an extra 5 seconds on the stim. Now, we are doing this because we have broken the unholy rule, which is going for 100% viscosity in the most powerful set we can get. So we are going for full attack speed and full strength. Now, this is also what's going to make it possible for you to blend Crushers and Maulers. When you have popped this and Rampage at the same time, you are literally dancing death for a good few seconds. However long the stim lasts, I can't remember. My memory is terrible, but yes. So, this is pure carnage in a stim here, which is why we are increasing it to give ourselves that little bit longer. But also, because we've gone that far, and also we have all the crit in the tree, the amount of tox we are able to spread around is going to be vastly improved, which is also going to help us replenish that stim more. So, as we were grabbing the long-lasting stim, we're going into Rampage. We're still unable to take Forge's Bellow at the moment, which is sad because I really enjoy it, but it's not necessary to be able to do as much damage as we possibly can. This is a nice defensive buff. So we're taking Boiling Blood into Pulverizing Strikes, Critical Hit into Swift Endurance, and then we're taking the Sweet Spot. This is a very good workhorse for the build. This is what's going to be allowing you to do the especially the strike down heavy attacks. When we combine everything together, it really does help us out. And then over to the right, we are taking Coated Weaponaries, of course, for being able to spread that Chemtox into Toxic Mania for more damage. We're taking the extra blitz charge, which is just a very nice quality of life. We're either getting 4 chem grenades or we are getting 4 missiles. And then we're taking sample collector, which is going to allow us to do this stupid amount of damage because it's going to reduce down the stim. And then back into the middle, we are taking punching above one's weight for the increased damage against elites and monstrosities, into hyperviolence, which is massively important for this build. This is what's going to be giving us a huge amount of damage. It's very badly worded, but this thing is doing some heavy lifting in this build. Into Hive City Brawler, and then Adrenaline Frenzy. Now, the reason we're taking Adrenaline Frenzy over Chemical Dependency is because we are using that longer stim, and also it works out slightly more useful than getting the just flat 15% crit. We're getting the damage and attack speed, and the attack speed is what's going to elevate us above needing that crit. Also, we don't have to mess around so much trying to keep the stim stacks, and we can use it when necessary instead of basically every 75 seconds to 90 seconds to try and keep the buff. So now we're not locked to that. We can just basically kind of view Adrenaline Frenzy as innocuous judgment. It's just kind of there doing its thing in the background, generally making you more powerful. Again, we're still not taking these 3 because they're terrible. But there you go. That is the updated version of this, which is, as I said, sketchier because we've lost quite a bit of defense, but it also increases your damage output wildly. So this is why I wanted to put out both videos. So you've got a kind of an eased into it guide of going, this is kind of what we're using, that's how it plays, and this is a strap in, things are about to get weird. Anyway, there you go, folks. That is the 2 builds. I hope you enjoy. If you do, please do like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel, and consider membership. And I will catch you all for the next guide. Hopefully it will be something other than Hive Scum, but I don't even know what these guides are going to be. Anyway, I shall catch you all later.